Hey there, this is Andrea with A.D.S. here to bring you the very best in marketing and branding tips, as well as business tips for those of you who are entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, and personal branders. Welcome and thanks so much for being here. So honored to have you as always. And today I just have a couple of quick tips for you about photo shoots. Yes, photo shoots. So important. So important, especially when you get in the personal branding world, particularly as an entrepreneur. And everyone else listening, and those of you know, if you watch this channel, personal branders means you. Because everybody's got a personal brand, honestly. And at some point, you may choose to monetize that brand and use it for some good in the world. So it really applies to so many people. And I want to demystify a couple of things about photo shoots. So many people think, the only time they really do photo shoots are like the headshot they did 10 years ago, if you're in your 40s, 30s, whatever. Professional headshot you did a long time ago. You did it like one time. You keep using it. It's starting to not look like you anymore. That's a photo shoot for a lot of people. And then a lot of people feel like their wedding was a photo shoot for them. For those of you in married world. And it costs somewhere between $3,000 and $5,000 and upwards, and you're kind of thinking like, there's no way in the world I would pay that money for a photo shoot for myself. Not true, people. I'm about to demystify all that for you and give you some practical tips about how you can go about getting your first photo shoot succinctly, affordably, and with great quality. All right, let's go. All right, so first of all, let's get the money issue out of the way. Talking about photo shoots, when you're thinking about photo shoots, it can be a 5-7K plus project. However, solopreneurs, personal branders, small entrepreneurs, small business owners, you don't have to spend that kind of money on a photo shoot starting out the gate, okay? What we need are some really good photos you can use for your website, for Instagram, and all those good things. What I want you to think about with funding, and this can vary per city, the quality is what's most important. So you really want to check out the photographers you're looking at using. Make sure they have a good range of photography. They're not all just headshots. They need to be a bit lifestyle shots. You looking at a magazine on your computer, walking down the street. They got to see you in action. People have to see close range, mid range, and full body range and further. Some pictures you got to be a small element in the picture, and the landscape, the background is the bigger thing. So you need a good range. They don't need to be all headshots and all that, okay? And they don't need to be all close-ups. They need to be arranged so people can see all of you. And we're going to get to the all of you part, body image and all that, very, very important. But what I will say is, with regards to money, I have a great photographer I use for the vast majority of my clients if they're in the Atlanta area. And it ranges for a good morning of a photo shoot, which can last you easily 6 months or more, $500 to $750 for a morning shoot, and that includes your editing and all that good stuff, okay? And that's what you want to think about. That kind of price range is pretty decent for a nice, solid photo shoot to get you what you need for your website, your Instagram for about a good half year if you need to stretch it that long, and all that good stuff. All right, so that's about the range I want you to think about. Of course, it can vary. Disclaimer, whatever. That's the range I want to give you, okay? Keep that in mind. Prepare for it, budget for it. You can do it. Everybody can do that. All right, so there's that. And if you can't do that, use your phones, honey. Get creative. Use great lighting, use daylight, all that. That's another video for another day. But if you can afford that, and I hope you can, do that, prepare for it, okay? So that's the money side. Now, body image. And you would think that I'm only talking to the ladies here. No. The guys have a problem with this too. The guys have a problem with body image too, with photos. So it's not just us ladies, but I will say, ladies, we tend to have a harder problem with weight in particular. This is guaranteed across the board, every woman wants to lose at a minimum 10 pounds, at least 15 pounds, most ladies say, before they'll do their photo shoot. And you know why this is a problem? It's because, and I need you to get out of this mentality. One, we think one and done. This is going to be a photo shoot. I'm going to do it one time, and then who knows? I might not do it for several years. So they want to be ready when this happens. No. You need to be in the mindset of doing a photo shoot fairly regularly. If you're in business, if you got a personal brand you're pushing, at a minimum, in a perfect world, try to go for a photo shoot twice a year. Every 6 months, get a light photo shoot done, different outfits, different hairstyles, all that good stuff, so that you have a mixture. It's different seasons, you know, so when you go outside, sometimes it's going to be spring, sometimes you need fall, sometimes you need summer, you know, so you got to be able to mix that up. You don't want it all the same, right? Okay, and things change over time. Your hair changes, your color changes. Ladies in particular, you love changing your hair. You love changing your hair. It's going to be different. And we age, honestly. Ladies, you change your hair, you do all this kind of stuff to yourself, and you gotta look current. You will age, and that's not a bad thing. It is not a bad thing. What is bad is when your photography on your website, on your social media, doesn't match up with how you look today. If I meet you in person after COVID's all over, or on Zoom, if I meet you in person and I've been looking at all this beautiful photography of you from 5-6 years ago or more, some of us have, especially on LinkedIn. LinkedIn photos are a bad culprit of this. Some of us have not gotten photos in over a decade. Okay, you're not 20 anymore. Some of you aren't 30 anymore. And what we don't want to be is surprised when we see you. We want to get what what we pay for, so to speak, right? We see this image of you over here. That's who we want to meet when we meet you in person or in real life. So you don't want them to be surprised in a bad way. You don't want them to think I was expecting young Andrea and what I got was 20 years older Andrea. Or worse, 20 pounds heavier Andrea. Like, people need to be able to recognize you in the street from what they see online in your photos. So it's very important. You want it to be reflective of your best self as you are right now, okay? And guess what? If you do lose those 10, 15 pounds, however much you want to do, good for you. Good for you. Guess what? You can celebrate with a new photo shoot. Go shopping, get new clothes, celebrate that later. But today, I want you on camera exactly as how you look today. That's what we need. That's what we got to roll with. If you delay that, you will never get your photos and you're going to be behind your competition. Okay? Can I be any clearer? I don't think I can. So I hope and pray that clears up your weight loss issues. And the other thing is, for gents in particular, they get concerned about their hair, especially if they're gray. They don't want to be gray and all this. They get concerned about that. They get concerned about stuff like that, you know, looking older and everything. And again, I'll say to you, just like I said to the ladies, if you are concerned about your hair and things, should you go out and do the Just for Men? I think we all learned from Rudy Giuliani that the Just for Men stuff is a bad it's a bad idea. You know, it was running down his face and his neck. I hope you guys, that's an image I don't think any of us can get out of our heads. But that shouldn't be you. Don't let that be you, okay, fellas? Be you. Be who you are. Gray is distinguished for men and women. Okay, don't be afraid of your grays. What you gotta do is rock your best self in this moment, okay? All right, so the next thing I want you to consider is your competition. This is a good time, now that you've decided to do your photo shoot, this is a good time to scout your competition, check out the photography they have, and even you can take some inspiration from outside of your industry. Just people who look kind of like you, your age range, all this, or they could be younger, it doesn't matter. But get some inspiration for the clothes, for the styles, for the poses, you know, the different ways that people are posing. A lot of people have a hard problem figuring out what to do with themselves once they get in front of a photographer. Not every photographer is a good director, so they only can tell you so much about the different kinds of poses they do with other people, but you need to come in mind with some photos in hand. What you got to do is keep a little folder as you come across inspiration photos, wherever you get them from, competitors, other industries, wherever you come across a pose, a shot that you're like, ooh, we should try that. save it in your inspiration folder for your photo session, okay? Save it in your inspiration folder, and that way when you have your meeting with your brander and your photo shoot guy, your videographer, you can pull out your inspiration photos and they're going to know exactly how to plan this shoot out for you, okay? And they'll help you be realistic about what's achievable in that first shoot. I like a half-day shoot. It's simple, it's easy, it doesn't take everybody's time, it's not all day. You get hungry, so eat before your shoot, brush your teeth again, and then do your shoot, and then you can reward yourself afterwards, because modeling is work. You will learn after you do your first photo shoot. Modeling is work. So you can reward yourself with a nice lunch or whatever afterwards, okay? So you did your competitor photos, you got your budget ready, and what's next is planning out the actual shoot itself, the locations and the outfit changes. You need to have your outfit ready. Go for 2, no more than 3 outfits in a half-day shoot. That's about all the time you're going to have to quickly change. And you don't want to do more than, I would say, 2 locations. 3 is kind of pushing it in a half-day shoot, okay? So you got some indoor locations so you can get your nice headshots in, all your little working at your desk shots, your cell phone shots, working with people shots. And then you got your outdoor shots to show you in your natural environment in your city with some murals is a great idea. You know, wherever, think about the imagery that you need. And this is why the competitor research is great. But once you have that down, then you want to plan the locations. And generally, I like to have a location where you've got indoor access and your outdoor access, wherever you want to shoot outdoors, is right there outside. That's the best ideal scenario. What you really don't want to do is waste your photography time driving around too much. If you got to drive 10 miles in Atlanta, it's eating up your time where you could be shooting, okay? So you need to make sure these locations are very close to each other. Indoor and outdoor locations, in a perfect world, you don't have to repark. You can just walk outside, get it done, and that's the perfect world scenario. If you gotta drive for a little bit. Hopefully you don't have to pay for parking, because that takes up time too. Use your time for your shoot. So, okay, planning the locations is very important. So we talked about money, we talked about competitor shoots, we talked about locations, and then finally, you're gonna need to look at your outfits. So again, 2 to 3 outfits is kind of the max you wanna do for a half-day shoot. Don't go any further than that because you won't get to them. 2 to 3 outfits is pretty good. It's about the most you wanna get in. So you wanna mix it up depending on the looks you need for your brand. And this is why it's important to kind of plan out what you need for your website, what you need for your social media over the next 6 months, over the next half year, and go ahead and pre-plan budget for another shoot a half year from now, so you can get a different scenery, so you can get different times of year, different outfits, all that good stuff, different hair. Okay, ladies and gents. So think about the attire. You're going to want a nice professional look, most likely, and again, all depends on your brand, but a good mix, a professional look, a nice business casual look, and if you're fashion, of course, you can go all over the place, but some third look that goes with your stuff. And you want to think about colors, being on brand with your colors. If your brand colors are a little bit hard to find and you don't have it in your closet, you don't have time to shop, what you need to go with are neutrals. Go with like grays, blacks, whites, tans. Neutrals like that will work with most palettes, and that's very important, because what you don't want to do is wear some jarring red color that doesn't flow with your brand, and then all of a sudden you love that photo so much and you want it to be the hero image on your website, the first image everybody sees. Well, guess what? If you have that up as your first image everyone sees, and everything's in red and your brand is really like purple and pink, it's gonna look awkward, it's gonna look weird, it might jar, clash horribly. So this is why what you choose to wear is very important. And also try to stay away from very small prints, because you can get, especially if this is more of a problem in video, but you never know, you might get some video on your shoot too. Very small prints can cause what's called a moire effect on video, and that's when you see that kind of electronic wave happening on someone's shirt because their print is so small and it's weird, it shows up funky. Not always so much the problem on photography, but in general, I just try to stay away from very tiny prints. So try to do solids. Solids are safe. Neutrals are safe. If you can get your brand colors perfect, if not, go for the neutrals. The other thing I would say is in terms of posing, we could have a whole other conversation about posing in general, but in terms of posing, what you want to think about, again, this is where the competitor shots really help, and the inspiration shots, as we'll call it, inspiration shots as well. When you're posing, you need variety. You need variety. You can't just do your same smile. You can't do your same pose for every single photo. It's just not going to work. You're going to have to mix it up. It needs variety. So you need a range of emotions. Sometimes you might have to practice this a bit, and you don't want to get over practice it, because you might come across, you might think it's good, and then you come across on camera and your photographer's like, that looks horrendous, because you might be a little too fake, a little too contrived. So you just want to have these shots in mind, and you can have the shots saved on your phone, so that as your photographer and hopefully your marketer or brander who's with you can help direct all this, you can show them the shot, they can help pose you, direct you, give you some inspiration for your face, you know, what to do with it, what to do with your hands, all that kind of good stuff. Okay, so having the inspiration shots with you on deck is really, really helpful with doing these poses, which everyone seems to get stuck at. Even some of the best of us get stuck with poses at a photo shoot, and that you don't have time to waste at a photo shoot. So this is why the inspiration photos on set matter. Okay, a good one is a laugh. Laughs are great. So remember, the point of this imagery photography is you're wanting to speed up this process of people knowing, liking, and trusting you. A face is so important for that. That's why photography is so important, and video. But talking about photography today, the face is so important. And who doesn't feel that a nice, laughing, giggling face is warm, is welcoming, feels like a friend? You look like you're talking to a friend right now. And so your prospective customer is looking at that like, I can see myself hanging out with them. You know, they don't really know why. It's because you've got this fun, genuine laugh going on. So not the contrived laugh. Think of something funny for real. You know, you might come up with a list of things that are funny to you. But you can totally come up with something, a couple things that make you giggle. And if nothing else, just the word giggle, when someone says giggle, it feels silly to even give that command to someone, and for you to actually do it makes you laugh. So if I tell you on the spot, giggle, you're going to be like, what? You're going to giggle anyway, okay? So that's cute, it's fun, and it gives you a genuine smile, which is what you need. Some of the things are going to feel weird to you because you're not a model and you don't do this every day. So trust the process, trust your videographer, trust the marketer and brander who you're bringing on staff with you, and hopefully you'll have a fantastic, marvelous shoot, okay? And those are my quick tips for photography for you today. What about you? What do you think? What questions do you have? Have you done a photo shoot before? Let me know in the comments below. Have you been thinking about doing a photo shoot kind of for the first time, or the first time in a long time? Have you ever done a photo shoot that's not just a headshot, not just a professional headshot? Some of us haven't had a photo shoot since college days or earlier, high school. So if that's you, don't feel bad. The rest of America and the world is in your same boat for the most part. And kudos to you for thinking about getting photos done for the first time in a long time. All right, so let me know where you are on your photography journey. What questions do you have? What fears do you have about photo shoots, if anything? And let's talk about them. Get it out in the air, deal with it, okay? Finally, if this is your first time here, please do me a favor and subscribe to this channel or to this podcast, wherever you're listening to it. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, please do subscribe, rate, and review the podcast. Love your comments. Please leave comments. Love to watch those, read those. And if you're watching this on YouTube, please do subscribe. Hit the button below that says subscribe, and also hit the notifications bell that pops up later. That is the only way that you see these videos later in life. is if you hit the notifications bell. If you don't do that, you probably will never see these videos ever again. Even when you hit the notifications bell, you'll still miss them. So it's very, very important to do that. And otherwise, my dears, please hit me up on social media. We're at the A.D.S Agency. It's THEADS, like advertising agency, on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, pretty much everywhere you are. Come find us, DM us your questions, say hi, and connect with us. We'd love to chat with you, okay? And otherwise, I'll see you next time, cuties. Have a good one.